Full time at Portman Road, and the Tigers do know how to lose. A disappointing loss on the day, just due to the fact that we were beaten by a better side. Ipswich, they're a team a little bit like Luton were last season, where a bunch of players that no one really knows about, not vastly experienced in sort of this level, have come through the Ipswich ranks. Just being managed by an excellent manager, are going to be up thereabouts at the end of the season, outclassed by a better side tonight. Nothing really too much more to it. I mean, there's loads of facts to go in for the game, loads of positives I found. I did find quite a few more positives than negatives. If that's a positive to take out of the game, I'll take it. But it was our second loss of the season. Our first loss of the season, but it's definitely our first loss that we deserve of the season, just due to the fact Ipswich played a miles better game than we did. Of course, we're now 7th in the table. Not too bad. We're still up where we need to be for this team, for Liam's plan, for Adrian's plan, and for where us fans want to be. So top 10 was my aim for the end of the season, and I still think that will possibly be a case. I don't want to rule them off. I don't want to say Liam Rosino out. I don't want to say Adrian, get your game plan out. I don't want to say get rid of this team, get a brand new team in January. None of that. This team is still capable of doing everything we know they can. It is just one of them nights where we just have to accept the defeat, move on. Millwall on Saturday, a game that if we lose against Millwall, then I will be sending some questions out, because we're going into the international break then with a loss, and I don't really want that, considering that we should have picked up 3 points against Plymouth. Tonight, we'll put that as a miss, but then if we do lose against Millwall, which is our home record has been shocking this season, then I will be sending out some questions. So for this game, it was kind of set up to fail, I think. Not for the fact of the team that we put out. I thought that the team that we put out was the correct choice. Maybe we could have seen Coyle on the bench, just due to the fact that he may not be 100% after his sort of concussion precautions. But that was fine. I mean, our best wishes to Coyle on his recovery and his dental work and everything. There was a bit of a nasty challenge with a lot of blood in the early stages of the second half, which didn't help our case. It was probably the biggest negative from the night, not the loss, but the fact that we're going to lose Louis Coyle for quite a few games, which will possibly be turned into a positive, just due to the fact that Vinagre will become the starting left-back, which will then give James Furlong probably his first run out in a Tigers shirt, even at Millwall, if not after the international break. He's a brilliant youth player, currently playing in Ireland's youth rankings. So I can see that him probably getting a run out due to Coyle's injury. So that's probably a positive and a negative from the night. It was first performance of the season for Greg Doherty and Dukan Sinek, who managed to come off the bench towards the end of the game when it was 3-0 down and it was damage control at that point. So them two came off the bench. First time that we've seen Dukan Sinek in a City shirt since before he went away to Asaspayor in Turkey on his loan deal for the second half of last season. Obviously picking up an injury towards the end of the season there has put him out for all this time now. But he did play in the academy the other day, and then he has come here. He was on the bench against Plymouth, and then he's come on against Ipswich tonight. Greg Doherty, similar story, well, apart from the loan. He got injured during pre-season. It was announced as a lengthy outage, and then I think he did another injury on top of it during his recovery, which sent it a little bit longer. So Greg Doherty, great to see him back in a City shirt. I think that there's possibly a need for him in the starting lineup, just due to the fact that we're maybe seeing Seri being used a bit too much for him. I think that he could possibly do with this international break more than anyone, just due to the time that he can take to recover. I understand he'll probably be going out to play some games for Ivory Coast, but yeah, it's a little bit more of a relax. I believe it's some friendlies for them, so it's a bit more of a relaxed scenario rather than a league game. I mean, this week we've got 3 games this week where Seri's probably going to be used for every single one. It's very high intensity on him. We're starting to see a bit of sloppy play from Seri over the past few games. So maybe a bit of a break for him, giving Greg Doherty a bit of a run out in CDM alongside Tyler Morton is possibly the best case scenario. So Other than sort of them positives, the negatives for this evening, I'd probably say this is our worst performance defensively. That goes without saying, losing 3-0. It goes without saying that this has probably had a worst defensive performance. But coming off a good stretch, 9 games unbeaten, is it? Or was it 8? 8 games unbeaten in a row. Strong defence over the time. I think we conceded, 5 goals at most? I think we conceded 5 in September. We're now in October, and we've conceded 3 already. So that's not the best. Just due in part due to getting outclassed though. Poor defensive though, I think. We didn't look strong enough in gaining the ball back. We let Ipswich have the ball too much. I mean, that is credit to them, but also discredit to us in our lack of energy. In the fact that we just weren't going for the ball. There was on every ball. There was on every second ball. Even when they went 3-0 up, they were still searching for another one. They're still searching for more. And that shows what I was on about in yesterday's prediction video. The fact that Ipswich just score goals. They go for everything, keep on going and keep on going. We saw it last season when they was in League One, where they came second due to points, I believe it was in the end against Plymouth. But they had a massive goal difference. I believe they scored over 100 goals during that promotion winning campaign. This season they're doing exactly the same that they was doing last season. They're not just beating teams by one scrappy goal, a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win here and there. They're beating teams, yes, there may be a goal in it, but it's still massive scorelines. 4-3, 3-2. I mean, tonight 3-0. They're picking up massive scorelines. So we could have seen a better defensive performance. I'm not gonna say that we were defensively sound. These 3 goals were lucky goals. Maybe the last one was probably it was the weakest of the 3, but you've got to really put analysis on sort of the defense. Our wing backs, they definitely took a beating. Cyrus Christie, a little bit of a shadow of his former self. I'd like to see the Cyrus Christie that we saw last season. His stats this season has been a bit of touch and go. I think that attacking wise, he's provided quite a bit, Cyrus Christie, but defensive wise, it's not been fully there this season so far. And I'm not sure if that's just due in part to sort of the new game plan with the new incoming transfers, or if it is something just down to him as a player. I'm not really too sure. So yeah, our full-backs really they took a beating tonight. I'm not going to say that it was their best performance. Probably going to say it's one of the worst of the season so far. Probably the worst under Liam Rosenior. I'm not saying it's the worst performance that we've seen under Liam Rosenior, because the Tigers didn't get too much game time. I'm going to say they didn't get too much game time. We just kept giving everything to Ipswich. They had the ball for, I'm going to say, 60% possession. I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats. I can't bother seeing the 3-0 score yet again. But they had so much of the ball. They had so many chances. I think in the end they have about 13, 14 shots. About 7, 8 of them have been on target. It's one of them nights where you just got to go, okay, we've lost here. Look forward to Millwall on Saturday, then go into the international break that's, I think, 2 weeks long, and go into that international break going, right, let's rest, recuperate, and then push on, because we've got some big games after this international break. We've got Southampton at home. I mean, their start of the season been a bit touch and go as well, but it's been one of them. They're one of them teams still that should be up in the top of the table come the end of the season. And if we want to be up in that position like them, we need to start picking up results against these teams that will possibly finish ahead of us. But if we can pick up wins like we saw against Leicester, that can put some morale into the team, and that can also send us up the table, up to where we should be with this team, with this manager, and with this momentum. So that's it for this video, our second loss of the season. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more Hull City news and content. I will have some more videos coming up before we face Millwall on Saturday. So I'll see you all later.